live and move and have our being, and it in us, as us, through us, each and every one. And as we join together here this morning, we join together with people of all different faiths, all different practices. In knowing that all is well, that life is good and very, very good as each and every one of us. We enter into this time together knowing that each and every one of us is blessed and is a blessing to life itself. That this time is filled with love and joy and wisdom and laughter. We know that Reverend Jill's message this morning has something for each of us. That there's a gift in her message that we are ready to receive and to celebrate. Something to lift us up and move us forward. Not only in our way of being, but in our way of doing. And so together we celebrate this. We celebrate life, we celebrate love and joy, we celebrate each other. And we are grateful knowing that this time is truly a blessing to each and every one. And so we step aside and let it be. And we say together, and so it is.
You are there. You are a blessing. 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 You are blessed. 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 You are a blessing. You are a blessing. You are a blessing.
Good morning. We often take for granted the very things that deserve our gratitude. Are you not hearing me? Can you hear me now? Okay. I think this was off. Okay. All right. I'll repeat that. We often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude. So, with that thought about gratitude, I'd like to hear you guys tell me some little things you're grateful for this morning.
Since we're still celebrating 4th of July, I'm just really grateful for this country and all the people that work hard to make it work to be a place for everyone.
I'm grateful because we have 3 of our young men in this church who are going to be undergoing some surgeries, and I'm grateful that they're here, and we know that they're guided and guarded and everything's going to be wonderful, but I just wanted them all to know how much we appreciate them.
Always guided and guarded. Always. Anyone else? I just have a thought doing my homework the last few days for our self-mastery class. I was just stunned, and I shared this with Reverend Jill, about how many of the teachings of this science of mine I use every day and how much it's in my life all the time. I am so grateful for the people like Reverend Jill and Reverend Lee who take their time to give their classes and teach us, because my work and my life and my very being flows with ease and grace due to that. Thank you. Okay. It's back to school time, and our center is once again supporting the Vista del Camino Community Center with their back to school supply drive. This is really great fun if you do this. We have this coming weekend and the next weekend. So to bring either cash donations, and then Valerie and I will help get supplies, or else bring the supplies that are listed out there. I'm going to go get some backpacks later today. Miss Val?
And I'd like to acknowledge Eric and Kim for a wonderful backpack they brought today. It's filled with wonderful. It's wonderful.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah, wonderful.
It's really fun to do this because there are a lot of kids that start to school, they just don't have the things they need. So there's a full list out there. And for those of you who don't have time, we'll take cash donations and we'll get some of those items. The primary needs are backpacks and binders. Thank you for supporting us. We have it through the 21st, so the final day. It's summer and hot. We all know that. There are lots of cool places around the valley to host a summer grateful gathering. So see Valerie and the fine folks at the front desk for more information and sign up to host a summer event. Just a reminder that we are a lending library right around the corner in the prayer room if you have any needs for a summer book or two to browse through, so help yourself. After service today, we're going to be showing the movie Ordinary Angels starring Hilary Swank and Alan Richardson. Joe's going to show us a little clip here of this movie. Thank you, Joe.
My name is Sharon. I'm just a ticked off hairdresser with a splitting headache. I'm good at plenty of things, taking no for an answer ain't one. You just wandered into a lady you never met before at school. Why exactly? Something about that little girl, just 5, and she already needs a liver transplant. Hi, Sharon, remember me?
Yes, ma'am.
So she's gonna help out a few nights a week.
I met this woman. She's a mess.
Perfect, just be right in. I'm gonna put together a press kit for Michelle, get corporate donations, that kind of thing.
We don't need to be running around worrying about money and bills right now. I just want to be with my family.
I was about saying yes and then figuring out how. Girls, help your daddy out.
I'm not comfortable with this. I'm her father. I'm supposed to be the one taking care of her.
You're gonna have to get comfortable being uncomfortable because this ain't about you, it's about your little girl.
When your insides breaking. Michelle will need to fly to the children's hospital immediately. I've had patients who have missed that window because they couldn't get a flight.
Don't lose your faith over this.
Officials are saying be prepared for what they're calling the worst blizzard in state history.
Is it? Today? Okay, we'll be there. You want to go on an adventure?
Yeah. The roads haven't been plowed, the airport's closed. Honey, listen, it's too dangerous.
I have to make it. This is our last chance. If we don't take it, Michelle dies.
Someone's got to do something. Someone's got to fight for it. So one thing I know for sure, that little girl now has the entire city rooting for her.
I want you to know something. You're not just worthy, Sharon. You're a miracle.
Whoa, good choice. Wow. 11:45 right here. You can also pick up some lunch before that or at the sandwich and the little pizza place across the deep divide there. After our talk this morning, Reverend Jill's going to open up the microphone for your questions again for comments. So if you have to write it down, there's some pins in there. But most of us stick on that thing, the whole thing. You get an idea and you go, well, but wait. So Reverend Jill will clear us up after that. We love music at Scottsdale Center for CSL, for Spiritual Living. And today we welcome Susan Riley with Everyday Heroes.
When I'm standing in the shadows and I can't see the discover that we often need somebody.
Good morning. So, what inspires you to be a hero? What inspires us here at Scottsdale CSL to do good in the world? We're currently collecting, as you heard, the backpacks and school supplies for the back to school program for Scottsdale's children. Last Thanksgiving and Christmas, we adopted a senior, and we also participated in the fire department's toy drive. Yeah, those were kind of feel good things. How did you feel when you heard the card of gratitude that we got from the lady that was our adopted senior citizen? Did it make your heart open? Yeah, she was very grateful for all that we provided for her holidays. How do you feel when you do good for others? How do you feel when you do good for others? This month, our theme is Life at the Movies. Life at the Movies. And it is our 8th year of our sizzling summer series. We started this 8 years ago, and July in Arizona is hot. So it's time to lighten things up a little bit. We have done, Winnie the Pooh. We've done the Disney movies. We've done Dr. Seuss. So we've lightened up and had a lot of fun. The past couple of years, we've done movies, and this year we're going back to the movies. And my talk today is what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And
It's based on Ordinary Angels that you just saw the clip for. And we're going to see the story today of someone who's doing good in the world. Well, watch the story unfold across the screen and see our character's why. We'll also see behind that why she's doing this, why she's motivated to do this. And it's based on a true story, which I always find inspiring. I like true stories. So, glasses are dirty and I can't see. Lose our place here. All right. So over the weekend, how many get Science of Mind magazine? A couple people? Yeah. Well, it's been published for 97 years. Ernest Holmes himself started that magazine. And I guess last year we went to double issues with what's happening in the world with more on the internet and less in print. We decided to switch and do double issues. And yesterday I was going through the August side. I'd already looked at the July side. I went through the August side, and I came across an interesting article, and it's talking about where Centers for Spiritual Living, our home office, is embracing a paradigm shift and what it is calling sacred activism. It's encouraging its centers to embrace a higher purpose in their pursuit of social change. They state, activism, when infused with spiritual awareness, becomes sacred duty. Now, as I read those words from our spiritual leader, Sonny Cantrell Smith, and the executive director of Centers for Spiritual Living, Michelle Ariano, I thought about our movie today. Activism infused with spiritual awareness becomes sacred duty. In the movie, you'll see this main character's journey through activism in someone's life. Probably got the gist of that a little bit there in the clip. And you may question her motives. You may question her sacred activism as we watch this show today. Last month, we talked about service. Remember, we talked about sacred service all month. We talked about service in our community, our unity and global service. We talked about service in the environment and in our relationships. As I was reading the statement yesterday, I considered their choice of words. The word duty versus opportunity, or the concept of obligation versus choice of sacred service. Last month we talked about service as a choice, and then it was sacred service as the concept of seva. How do you feel when you're told something is your duty versus it's an opportunity to give, a choice? Is there a difference in the feeling of those words? For me, I think of duty like rules imposed on me by someone else. Kind of like the Army. You've got to go serve duty, right? You're conscripted, you've got to duty. You've got to do that. You don't have a choice. Versus the idea of being responsible and being in service. Things that I get to make a choice about. In the show, you get to decide what motivates this main character to do what it is that she's doing. Is it duty, service, or is it responsibility? We'll also witness her battle with her own inner demons and the impact and the effect that those have had on her life. So there's a lot of story stuff going on here in this movie. There's a lot of different things happening. So I invite you to consider these questions for yourself. What about, let's back up. When we think about activism, we think about helping another person, right? Or helping a situation, making things better. That's what we think about when we hear that. But what about the other side? What about the other side of that equation? What about the people that we're helping? How do they feel? In our movie, we'll get to watch and see how they do or don't receive this gift of service. Did they ask for it? Is it welcome in their world? Are they grateful for it? You'll get to see all of that this afternoon. So when we think about being in service, and we think about receiving someone else's service or activism, whatever you want to call that, consider the questions for yourself. Do you ever ask for help? Sometimes. Sometimes it's easy. Could you help me lift this? Could you help me reach that? Could you help me? But sometimes it's not so easy, is it? I'm not feeling well. Can you listen to me? I need to talk. Sometimes it's not so easy. I'm not feeling well. Would you mind going to the grocery store for me and picking up a couple of things and dropping them off at my house? That feels like an imposition, doesn't it? It's hard sometimes to ask for help and support. So in some areas it's easy, some areas it may not be easy. Do you always welcome the gift of service and active participation in your life? Or do you look at it as they might be butting in just a little bit? Is it really any of their business? Food for thought, right? Ooh, food for thought. Very often we find it easier to give than to receive. Agreed? When we're giving, we're helping. We have the help gene. We want to help. Have you ever heard or said the words, I was only trying to help? When I picked up that can that I thought was water that was gasoline that I threw on the fire, I was only trying to help. Right? Anybody ever heard those words, said those words? It usually happens when things are going really, really, really bad. Good intentions with unintended consequences. I've experienced it. Have you? We see it in government all the time. They create some legislation or rule or something that is going to be wonderful and fix everything, and then it gets out in the world and it's like, oh my gosh, look at all the unintended consequences here. Wow. So it's just not having the broad enough perspective to recognize the unintended consequences of our good actions. Now, we usually try to help someone because we're convinced that the other person will benefit because of what we know. Would you agree? I'm older, I'm wiser, if it's a younger person. I've had more experience. Some mistakes are irreparable. They create irreparable damage. We don't want them to have to go through that. So let me tell you what you should or shouldn't do here. Sometimes we look back on our own life and we really wish somebody would have given me that advice back then. But would you have listened to it then? Probably not. And we want to help people avoid mistakes because we can see so clearly that's just not going to work. Right? Yeah. Let me help you. Let me tell you what you should do instead. That's called having a savior complex. Let me save you from yourself. Rather than being a guide. Rather than being the wise person who shares wisdom. We earn that wisdom, don't we? Through the school of our own hard knocks. But we can learn to be a guide. Has anybody ever taken a Science of Mind class? Some of you are taking one right now. Yes. The first night of class, it's been this way for the 25 years I've been studying it, probably since Lee's been studying a lot longer than me. But he just started sooner. But in the first night of class, we do some housekeeping things, and one of the things we talk about is sharing. Right? It's the first thing in the booklet. Talk about sharing. How we share, why we share. We don't do crosstalk and interrupt each other in class. We pay attention to how much we're sharing as far as time and to make sure everybody else has enough time to share as well. And we don't give advice to each other. We don't give advice to each other. When someone else is sharing their story, their struggle, their aha, whatever it might be, we give them the gift of sacred listening. We don't advise. And the reason we don't is because we don't want that savior complex triggered. Everybody has to discover their own way. We can shine a light, can drop a hint or a breadcrumb, but we each need to find our own way from within to our own truth, revealed through us and as us. So if you find yourself struggling with that idea of just listening, of just being a guide or perhaps mentor, and you find yourself wanting to fix the other person in conversation, save the other person from themselves, consider if your savior complex has been triggered. Can you just listen, acknowledge, allow them to be heard, tell them they've been heard, and find the words, the conversation, to be able to support them without telling them that this is how it has to be. That's part of our journey, right? The science of mind teaches us this thing called the law of circulation, which is giving and receiving. That giving is as important as receiving is as important as giving, because you can't have one without the other, right? We know this. We usually think about it in the realm of money and stuff and things like that, but it happens everywhere. This law of circulation works in every part of our lives, whether we are giving or receiving joy or love or peace or service, whatever it might be. It works the very same way. We give what we get, what we give. There are times when we will not be, may not be receptive to what someone's offering to us, what they're doing for us, what they're giving to us. We just might not be receptive to it. It may have to do with the way that they chose to give it. It may have to do with the way we choose to receive it. Because we get to choose, right, how we're going to receive. They get to choose how they're going to give. And for that lovely relationship and law of circulation to operate, we need to get on the same page with that. Sometimes we might feel like they're butting in and our defenses come up, right? Sometimes we may not feel worthy to receive the gift. Sometimes we might get angry. We may push them away. We may push the gift away. When these things happen in our lives, it's an opportunity to look at, why am I doing this? What is causing this in me? Do I feel unworthy to receive the gift? Do I feel like they're butting in? Can I have a conversation about that instead of pushing it away? Can I open up for the growth opportunity and the communication in this moment? Ernest Holmes is the founder of Centers for Spiritual Living, the author of The Science of Mind. And he talks a lot about this in the Science of Mind text. In my rereading of it this year, yesterday's reading was about receiving. It was about receiving. And he uses the example of 3 folks who were unemployed. One of them was making $15 an hour, one was making $30, and one was making $100 an hour. They all lost their job. They all came to the practitioner and they had a session. Practitioner treated for employment for each one of them. All 3 got a job. The one making $15 an hour got $15 an hour again. The one making $30 an hour got $30 again. The one making $100 got $100 again. Same treatment. How is that possible? Why didn't they all get $100 or more in their new jobs? Because each was not receptive to the higher amount. According to Holmes, the law says that we can have only what we can take. Each could receive only their fill, their mental capacity to comprehend. The positions they received were limited to the mold which their perceptions of life had provided. So they went right back to their comfort zones, right? Does this mean we're stuck in the $15 an hour job forever? Does it mean we're stuck with the health challenges forever? Does it mean that we are in a loveless relationship forever? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If anything, this teaching teaches us that we are not stuck, right? We can expand our consciousness, our belief, and our awareness of the good available to us. We can break the old habits of being and create a new mold or mental equivalent. We talked a little bit about this a couple of weeks ago with our Jello molds, remember? We can create that new mold of our mental equivalent. But when we hold to the belief that this financial status, this relationship, this career, this health, I am these things, and we believe that's as good as it gets, then guess what? And so it is. That's as good as it gets, because it's done unto us as we believe. So we get to get out of our comfort zone. We all have them. They're comfortable, right? Cushy, easy, no stress. This time of year, most of us probably have a specific range that we use on our thermostats. Yes? Comfortable. Maybe to maintain our comfort, maybe to be energy efficient, maybe to be economical, because those power bills can get pretty big in the summer, can't they? So we have a range. If we move it, though, a couple of degrees in either direction, it's going to impact our comfort because we're used to those temperatures. The same is true with our conscious acceptance of our good. We have either a $15, a $30, or a $100 mentality. We have a mentality about the size and location of our home. We have a mentality about the size, quality, condition of our automobile. We have a comfort zone about everything in our lives. We all do. We have a comfort zone in which we live. And the only way that we can call forth that which is bubbling up in us as desire for something different is to expand that, is to become a vibrational match for that in our lives. Ernest says we can have only as much as we can take, and the taking is mental. The taking is mental. It's in our conscious awareness that we do the taking first. We first have to receive it and accept it in our minds and our hearts and our soul and our whole being before we can ever see it made manifest in our lives. If you decide to save money on electricity and turn that thermostat up 5 degrees, that's going to get really uncomfortable, isn't it? Because it's going to get pretty hot pretty quick. It's too much too fast. If we take it up 1 degree and allow ourselves time to adjust to that new number, okay, it's not so bad. I wear less clothes. I drink more ice water. Okay, it's not so bad. Turn it up 1 more degree. It's warm. Okay. Maybe I'll go out more during the heat of the day. I'll enjoy the air conditioning at the mall, or I'll enjoy the air conditioning someplace else, the library. Okay, not so bad. Ooh, 1 more degree. That's hot. Not doing that. It's how our conscious expansion works. When we start to take the expansion of consciousness, it gets uncomfortable. Am I right? It gets uncomfortable. Things happen. Old ways start to break down. New ways start to show up. We're in change. But it's the only way we can move beyond where we are right now into the what is greater yet to be expressing through us. We can't jump too far too fast. Like I said last week, we were in our fortune cookies, we were talking that we start from where we are right now and we grow from there. So what is yours to do? What is yours to do? What are you saying yes to in life? We all have our yeses. Right now it's in our comfort zone. Can we say yes to something a little outside of our comfort zone? Grow into that? Are you saying yes to lack and limitation? Or are you saying yes to plenty and freedom? Have you heard the universal truth that when we say yes to the universe says yes to us? Many of us in this room have experienced that. When we finally say yes to that which has been calling us forward in our lives, and suddenly everything starts to fall in place. It was a miracle. I couldn't believe how it all came together so easily. Anybody? Yes. Yes. When we say our sacred yes, we'll see this in the movie today. Certain things our character said yes to. Some things she said absolutely no. And you get to watch the movie to see what happens. I remember many, many years ago, I don't even remember where it came up in my mind yesterday. I don't remember even where I was, but it was a workshop. It was one of those breakthrough kind of workshops. And we were at the end evening, and the process was to let go of something in our lives, something that was no longer serving us, that we were ready to give up in our lives. And we were invited, when we were clear about that, to step forward in the front of the room and break a board with our hand. The old karate chop thing. How many have done that? Well, I had never done it. And I was trying to let go of something. And a lot of people got up and went up there and just, boom, board broke, and back they came, big smile on their face. Like, that's cool. A couple others went up and couldn't break the board. Came back in tears. And I'm like, okay, if I am not perfectly clear in my head that I am really, really, really ready to let this go, I'm going to break my hand. I'm going to just flat out break my hand. And so I sat there for a while, and I was one of the last people to go up. But by the time that I went up, I was able to break the board. I don't know how I did it. I just know I did it. It wasn't something I could prepare physically for, to learn how to chop boards and all that. But I was being prepared mentally to do it. I was being prepared mentally. And I recognized that if I was not willing to totally commit, if I didn't feel that embodiment throughout my whole body, I wasn't going to be able to do it. I knew that. And I had fear. But when I was able to feel that shift and know that I'd let it go, that I was willing to no longer experience that, I was able to go forward and do it. I kept that board for a very long time. They had us write on it what we had released, and I kept that board for a long time as a reminder of the mental process, of the power of my mind, of what I could do when I used it. The funny thing is, as I was remembering that yesterday, what I was releasing was my fear of failure. Actually, it was my fear of being embarrassed, right? Which was my fear of failure when you do something that you're either not very good at or you try something totally new and fail at it. And so I had to release that. And the irony of the universe in that moment, I didn't get it then, I got it yesterday, was that, yeah, you got it. Yeah, I had to get up out of my chair and go up there and risk failing to even attempt to do it and to make the release. So it was a fun memory yesterday. I still wish I could remember where I was in the workshop, but I have no clue. So our yes is sacred. Our yes is sacred. No matter what environment we make it in, if it's a breakthrough workshop, it's the privacy of our own home and our meditation time, wherever it is that we commit, and we say yes, the universe is always listening. It's not in one spot or another. It's always listening. And like my story, it's vital that it's not just the word yes, it's the commitment yes. It's the yes depth in our soul that we're willing to finally let this go forever, whatever it might be. And there may be temptation to step back into it and to play small again. But then you've got your board you can look at. You got your board you can look at and remind yourself of the power of your mind to overcome the bad habits, to overcome the saying no at the wrong time, and to say that sacred yes. It's a sacred commitment we make to ourselves and for ourselves. So what is yours to do? What is yours to do? What is calling you into service to yourself, to others, and to your life today? How can you become an ordinary angel? So it is. If you would like to study our principles, we have our Mindful Monday that you can study this more throughout the week. We email, snail mail. We email the talk to you on Monday mornings that you can practice these principles in during the week so that you can begin to embody them in your life as well. Your practice for this week is to answer the call of your heart. Spend time in meditation and listen deeply to what you are being called to do. This can be large or small. It can be large or small, like changing the thermostat. We sometimes try to jump too far too fast. So these can be small changes. What do you want to do for the next 24 days of this month? What is yours to do in the next 24 days in this month? It's not the life decision, oh my gosh. It's just the 24 days. It's just this week. It's today. What is yours to do? Listen for the call, take inspired action, and remember, not a savior, a guide. So this week, practice saying your sacred yes. And now it is your turn. Comments, questions, complaints? All departments are open now. Anyone? Diane.
This is just quickly, all the libraries in Phoenix and Scottsdale are hydration and cooling centers. So if you want to grab a 24-pack of water and take it to your library, they'll cool it and they'll give it to people who need it. And it's just a good feeling. And they never run out. I mean, there's people bringing it all the time, so it's really good. And they do a good service. And I'm happy. So
I was not aware of that. Thank you for sharing that. That's nice. Good. That's a cool one. Cool. Sizzling Summer Series. Cool. Anyone else? What is yours to do? I got you contemplating. All right. That's my job. That's my job.
Well, I was just thinking, sometimes you don't know what is yours to do and what is somebody else's to do. And when I was a therapist and I worked with a domestic violence shelter, I'd be working with women that were going, in a terrible situation. And to actually just remember to be a guide. I'm not your savior. But knowing, they're on a precipice and they don't have a lot of time to make tiny changes.
Yeah.
So, trying to be their friend and to be a guide, that how do you want to live the rest of your life? It was kind of difficult to do that, to know when to say, 8 people do that, go home before they're killed or they finally figure it out. You just never say that.
Right.
But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, of course he's sorry. Of course he's sorry in, this honeymoon period. But I was always, in problems with that because that was way before I was in Science of Mind. So a lot of times I would feel, I am your savior because I know everything.
Right.
And then now I look back and I think, no, you don't, because you were never in that situation. You know it intellectually, but you don't know it viscerally. And so it is a hard thing to know what you can do.
Yeah.
So you do what you can.
Yeah, very, very good contrast to what I was saying. Thank you for that. Because sometimes it is a dramatic situation and we feel like we must take action. And those are the times that, like Diane was saying earlier, that we really have to go within. We have to go within our own counsel. We have to go to our higher wisdom. How can I help in this situation without having to fix what I think is broken? How can I help? How can I help? There's that TV show, New Amsterdam. How can I help? How can I help? Yeah. Anyone else? Thank you for that. All right. Thank you, Joe. So would you join me in a prayer this morning, please? So as we just breathe in this morning, recognizing that we are here on holy ground, recognizing that we are surrounded by the infinite power and presence of God, universal energy, the flow of life itself, infinite love, wisdom, joy, intelligence, peace, harmony, balance, perfect right action, divine right order, perfect right timing. All of this is the perfection of life that is the very creator of all that is. And all of that is here present right now, in this moment. It has created this moment, made available to us the air that we breathe, the chairs on which we sit, this room, this center, each of the beloveds in this room that surrounds us, our lives. For we are unified in this wholeness. We are immersed in it. There is no separation whatsoever. We are one in this room, and we're one with all of life. And so from this place, I speak my word for and about us as individuals, as Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that each of us is divinely guarded and guided, and that we are sourced of this divine presence, of that infinite wisdom and intelligence, knowing exactly what is ours to do in each and every moment of our lives. We know what our sacred yes is. We hear that small voice within us, that desire that bubbles up within us, that we know is ours to do. And we say that sacred yes. We say that sacred yes and hallelujah, knowing that as we have done so and committed in our minds, our hearts, and our souls, that all necessary for its manifestation comes forward into our lives in a rush of joy and energy. That is ours to do. I know for anyone that has anything on their heart this day that they are seeking prayer around, that we lift them into the prayer consciousness of this room, this high holy consciousness that each of us holds in this moment. I know for anyone facing surgery in the coming days and weeks, perfect and divine right order, complete and total healing, ease, grace, and the divine is in, through, and as each and every moment and second of that. And each of these beloveds is blessed. I know anyone working with health challenges, relationship issues, financial issues, career manifestation, whatever it may be, that we are grounded and anchored in this prayer right here, right now, in the divine source and substance of it all, and that those prayers are answered in this moment. And I'm grateful for this knowing. I'm grateful for the manifestation of this prayer in, through, and as the lives of each one of us and through this center. As I release this into the action and activity of law, knowing that it is done, it is so, and we affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is.
All right. Thank you, Reverend Jill. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Now's the time for... there we go. Now it's time for our grateful giving this morning. I invite all of you to participate with all of us in affirming and circulating and practicing this principle that we teach each and every week, where we are participating in the support and celebration of our message of affirmative spirituality. Ernest Holmes writes this: I know that my good is increased and multiplied as it is scattered. I am both an inlet and an outlet for the passage of divine love, light, life, and power. Wherever I go, then I shall impart the divine blessing which I have received. So I invite everybody here in the space, everybody online, to join in the practice this morning. There are many, many, many ways to share of the blessings in your life. We have links on our website, including Zelle, where you can make it a one-time or a recurring event in your life. If you do make it recurring, you can scoop up the golden ties ticket on your way in and drop that in the basket as it rolls around. We also have the Money Finders program, where we celebrate the serendipitous occurrence of abundance in our lives. Somebody pays for your coffee, you find $10 on the ground, you find $100 in the dryer. Who knows? That happened to me once.
Can I use your dryer?
Yeah, right. I know, right? And right. So anyway, if you want to make a cash gift, you can use the envelope, put your name and address on, your name and email address on it, so we can send you a letter at the end of the year. Credit cards in the lobby, snail mail. There's an address on the website, and the offering basket here in the space here this morning. So this morning, if you'd like to hold your gift over your heart, if you're comfortable doing that, and join me in the affirmation. I am an open channel through which prosperity flows. I accept the divine flow of goodness, ideas, and substance through me now. I am grateful for my full and prosperous life, and so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
And we are so very, very grateful for the abundance and prosperity, for our participation in the flow, for the gifts of love and joy and abundance that have been shared with us here this morning. We receive them and participate in the ever-expanding cycle of abundance and prosperity in the life of the center and the community that we serve. We're so very, very grateful. And so we let it be, and so it is. All right. So, a few closing reminders. If you would like prayer today, please see me over in the room after the service, or you can leave a written prayer request in the prayer box or on the website 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Remember to stop by the front desk and check out the school supplies list for our Scottsdale kiddos, and think about hosting a grateful gathering between now and the end of the year. Next Sunday, we will continue our sizzling summer series, Life at the Movies, with my talk, In Rhythm with Spirit, where we will explore the pathways of turning toward the divine in life, using themes from the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance, one of my favorite movies of all time. We will look at ways we can engage with the presence in our daily lives. We have live music from Jennifer Sheets next week as well, and the movie The Legend of Bagger Vance after the service. Joe, do we have a clip for that? We do? Okay.
Maybe I better come back when you're not so busy.
Busy? Well, I thought you were going to say drunk. In fact, there's enough whiskey in the state of Georgia to get me drunk enough.
Well, how drunk is drunk enough?
It's all a matter of brain cells. You see, every drink of liquor you take kills 1,000 brain cells. And first the sadness cells die, so you smile real big. And then the quiet cells go, so you just say everything real loud for no reason at all. And finally come the memory cells. These are tough to kill.
We need someone from Savannah in the match.
Who's that? I could have killed you out there.
Oh, no, sir. See, I set myself directly in front of you. Judging by how you was hitting them balls, I figured that's why I'd be out of harm's way. Bagger Vance, the name. You lost your swag. We got to go find it.
I heard my dad tell how you won every tournament there ever was.
The junior you was, you ain't never gonna be again. Ever. I don't know a damn thing about me.
10 years and not one single solitary word from you? You don't do that to someone you love.
It was too long ago.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, this is becoming embarrassing. Oh, no, sir. It's been embarrassing for quite some time now.
I can't do this.
Yes, you can.
This isn't your shot, Bagger.
No, it's yours. There's some storm a brewing.
What was it, Adele? What did you like about us?
I like the way we dance.
Inside each and every one of us is something that's ours and ours alone.
Was there something you wish to discuss? Because this might not be the right time to.
Play will continue! Cars, get your cars, boys!
He always felt a man's grip on his club just like a man's grip on his world.
All right, so that's next week. But the movie today starts at 11:45 ish. How many are staying for today? All right, should be fun. All right, with that, would you all stand? Join me in the affirmation. Here we go. I live in peace and share my joy. I am empowered by spiritual truth. Today, I do what is mine to do, and so it is.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I peace. And I let go that the Spirit of my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I only can forget. No, no, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith inside, see the light ahead. Free in the Spirit, I only can forget. Oh, I am free in the Spirit. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to be free? Well, let me hear you say yes. Yes, I'm only here for God.